Hi, this is Mike from thesubstream.com, and this is the Film Lab. And usually in the Film Lab episodes, we explain how to do some piece of pre-production, production, or post-production technique, how to do Rembrandt lighting, how to use a C-stand, or explain some bit of filmmaking lingo. And this is going to be slightly different, but bear with me, because recently we had to make a decision equipment-wise in the Substream studios here, because we've always shot with a really nice Canon HD camera called the Canon XH-A1 that's got a nice lens, and it's really big, and it's got all kinds of mics hanging off of it, but when we wanted to be less obtrusive, we shot a bunch of stuff with this. This is a Kodak ZI-6. There's a million like it. There's flip cams that shot cheap and dirty, but pretty good looking and pretty good sounding HD video. Unfortunately, like all things that cost under $200 and are super cool and super convenient, it eventually broke, especially after the hard work we put it through. We had to replace it. And we started looking around and testing a bunch of these little flip type cams, these pocket cams that shoot 720p video. The best possible replacement, and what we think is going to be an incredibly important piece of video making technology, was the video camera in the iPhone 4. I know we're probably like way late on this, but blame it on being Canadian and blame it on being poor that we just got them now. The most important thing that's happened in video making history was in the mid-60s when Sony introduced the first porta-pak video camera called the Video Rover. And it was this crazy thing that had a camera piece like this and then a big long wire that went to basically a giant VCR. This was like a two-person team. One person would wear the backpack and operate the recorder, and the other person would aim the camera around, but you had to be very careful when you aimed it, because if you aimed it at the sun or a bright light, you would basically destroy it. It wasn't important because it immediately revolutionized the movie-making industry, as people are always claiming advancements in cheap video technology will do. It was important because immediately, like within a week, it was picked up by a bunch of artists like Andy Warhol and Namjoon Paik, who started using it to make video art. The porta-pak and handheld video technology then went on to be incredibly successful, in part because it was used by an underground art community. The video art eventually filtered through mainstream filmmaking and influenced it in a bunch of really profound, important ways. And that's what's going to happen, we think, with the iPhone 4. A lot of these little flip cameras shoot great video, but unfortunately they don't have the kind of penetration into the market that the video camera in an iPhone 4 will have, just by dint of the fact that it's included in an iPhone 4. And now that a lot of people have a pretty cool little HD video camera that they can carry around in their pocket, a lot of companies are making really cool products for them as well. There's an app called Almost DSLR that lets you basically hack the Gibson and take over the camera functions and lock in white balance and focus and exposure in a way that the regular camera won't let you do. And there's companies like Owly, which stands for Optical Widgets for Life Enhancement, that make mounts with 37mm lenses that screw on the front, where you put your phone in them and then use it like a camcorder and get this crazy fisheye effect. And there's even, from a company called VidAtlantic, a 35mm lens adapter that you can screw on the front of your Owly Bubo iPhone 4 mount to get that really cool film camera depth of field look. Again, these things aren't going to take over. This is going to take over Hollywood film production, the same way that the Canon XH-A1 isn't going to take over Hollywood filmmaking production, because people still like the images that come out of $200,000 or $300,000 HD or film cameras. What it will do, however, is change the way that people like you and I, low-budget filmmakers, and people that don't even consider themselves filmmakers, people shooting themselves skiing or snowboarding, will make movies. And that's all because of this thing and the accessories that are going to come from it. So we got one. We're going to be using it a lot more in the future. We used it last week. We broke it in. I handed my phone over to my little sister, who shot a bunch of stuff at the Harry Potter midnight screening that happened last week. And we're going to be covering ongoing advancements in iPhone 4 filmmaking technology, because we think it's really neat. Not because it's got the most amazing picture quality, not because it's got the most amazing sound quality, although it looks and sounds good, but because just by the fact that it's an Apple product, it's going to end up in the hands of a bunch of people that are going to be able to do a bunch of creative stuff with it. Check back here and we'll talk about it some more.